Ichigo awakens by Talacha, chapter 78, aftermath of Aizen. Yuha boxed the throne room. That damn brat, Yuha growled, angry at using much of his regained energy to fire an attack capable of killing his target, and having victory ripped away from him. There is now bringing you back to your family. Is there? Not when you perverted the most holy right of the Quincy. He watched the fight between Ichigo and Aizen, initially unconcerned since Aizen bore some of his Quincy at Reishi since the first time the Soul Reaper fought his lost child, until Ichigo used his own swahling the brat dared to sever his bloodline and declared himself on par with the Quincy Emperor. He used his own power over his children to gather enough power to smite the heathen traitor, and then Aizen did a most unpredictable thing and sacrificed his life. Now Ichigo was the single most dangerous being to his goal, and his failed effort has set it back greatly. Juguram soon entered to give the report on the state of the Vanderreich. Your Majesty, here's the report. He said about his lord while carrying some single cloth. Your children are in mourning that their brothers and sisters' lives failed to give you the power necessary to slay the traitorous brother, and have vowed to strengthen themselves for the assault. He rose to his feet and made his way to the foot of the throne to present the cloth he carried, the burned remains of a zero squad Hiyori. The senators that accompanied Ichigo Kurosaki and others were unable to recover Yuzu and Karin Kurosaki from the constant watch of Ichigo's allies, but he did recover this. Yobaka took the Hiyori and examined it. This belonged to the head of the royal guard, Ichibi Hyosube. The said, recognize the power in the cloth. It holds the power of the Oken within. Maybe this trip has had some worth after all, he mused. Now that he had a way into the royal palace as soon as that damn seal of Urahara was weakened enough to allow the entire army to escape this prison world of theirs. Let them know that I am pleased with this accomplishment. They made the best of a failed mission, and I reward worthy contributions to our cause. Jugram bowed again and left the throne room to let his lord sleep. With the Gotai, the assembled captains, lieutenants, Zalankar, and others waited for the final battle to end, for the hybrid to defeat the traitor and bring back any great change of the Gotai. Giryuse himself narrowed his eyes as he recognized the sensations of an Oswaklen in the air, followed not long after by a powerful Quincy shot that could only belong to Yobach himself. Ichigo soon appeared before them with Kyoka Sugetsu and the other Hyo in hand. Aizen is dead, he said, holding out the blade hilt first to Yamamoto and tossing the spear to Kisuke. Tensai and Urahara wasted no time taking the Hyokaku and putting it behind the seal until they could properly lock it away. Yamamoto reached out and took a Kyoka Sugetsu, examining one of the most deadly Sanpakuto he's seen in recent years. A grimace from Ichigo and a sense of distress from the sword itself gave the old dragon an idea of what happened. He returned the sword to Ichigo and addressed his student and the group. The war is now over, he announced loudly. The remaining Rankar here are to return to Wakamundo. Your king will join you in due time after we decide our future actions. The Spada looked at Ichigo, who nodded in confirmation and prompted the return to the endless desert. Ichigo rose back to his feet while Lukyora and Grimjaw appeared by the master's side again. Nice job, boss, and Grimjaw congratulated, aiming to give Ichigo a pat on the back, only to have his hand disintegrated when it got within half a foot of Ichigo's being. Ah, shit, that stings, he roared as his hand regenerated. After absorbing Aizen's soul, Madayatsu became too strong, the habit explained, knowing what that much power in one being does. From sheer instinct, it's taken all my concentration to hold it back this much, and not too long after that, Masaki, Ryukin, Kanai, and Sora appeared, with Masaki jumping toward her son. My boy's so strong now, she cheered, with Ishin catching and holding her back. I'm so proud of you, honey. She continued, trying to hug her child before slamming an elbow into Ishin's head. Let me congratulate my little protector, she roared before Ishin explained the dangers in getting too close. Meanwhile, Ikaku was snickering about the little protector comment, which led to Masaki to stomp his head into the ground, and Kenpachi gave no shits, heading over to pat Ichigo on the shoulder. Two things, he said, his hand hand rapidly smoking from the contact. One, you owe me a fight, and two, I'll show you how to restrain yourself. I'm very familiar with practice. He then went over to Nahana, who began to heal her husband's hands. While Masaki was beating Ikaku to near death, Ryuken went over to Ichigo to explain that the four of the empowered humans were in charge of protecting four major structures that protected the real Karakura with the fake Karakura. Ichigo nodded in understanding before offering the dust that he gathered from Aizen's body to the senior Quincy. That's still silver, all right. Ryuken confirmed after examining the dust. Good that you remembered to get it, he said before pouring the material into a vial and pocketing it away. It's still silver. It's a rare mineral that comes from the victims of the hollow selection that aren't immediately incinerated. Kisuke explained for the rest of the Gotai. If left alone, it congeals in the heart and would still kill the victim. Masaki and Kanai would have died if Ryuken and I didn't extract it while they were still comatose. And it's the only thing that can render Yobak powerless for the brief reapers of instance. Ryuken finished. However, I am unsure whether this would affect Yobak or not, but it would most certainly threaten Ichigo. I do have an idea of what to do with this, however. We will trust you to handle that. Giryusa said, wanting to return to Soul Society so that could begin the next great change to the afterlife. In Soul Society, the Senkimon closed behind the Gotai members, while Wamasaki and others returned to the real Karakura town back to the world of the living. Ichigo kept a safe distance from his allies while Jin was in shackles before the group left the world of the living. The rest of Ichigo's allies that invaded Wakamundo appeared sans the storytellers, something that Uryu said he would explain at the meeting later. The group didn't even take 10 steps before Senjumaru appeared in front of Ichigo and instantly stripped, measured, tailored, and redressed Ichigo so quickly that barely anyone could follow what happened. What just happened? The Abbot asked while with Ulquiorra getting between his king and the strange woman. Osho said we should be down here for when you get back. The seamstress answered, rubbing her skeletal hands. I prepared a special fabric that could help restrain your power. I'm your prototype until I can refine and add more features to it. The Abbot finally took a chance to look over himself to find he was covered in black, a black hori with a new black full form fitting shirt and pants with belt fasteners on his forearms and calves, all of which he could feel were holding back his reatsu. The fabric itself is to seal while undoing one of the fasteners is like opening a valve. Huh, neat, he said, getting accustomed to the sense of wearing a seal. By the way, did you grope my butt? Ichigo asked, making Senjuman avert her eyes and blush while smiling. Just getting accurate measurements, she muttered, slowly walking away and disappearing before Ichigo could demand answers. Soon after that, Ichigo and Oetsu appeared. Ichibi and Oetsu appeared with the smith holding out his hand and summoning Kyoka Sugetsu to him while the monk stood in front of the hybrid. After seeing your Tensa Sangetsu, I had a feeling the fight would end with you absorbing Aizen, Osho explained as Ulquiorra took his place behind his lord and Miyamoto coming up next to his student. The reason why we're here is to see how much stronger you would become as a result of that. Senjumaru made that outfit Oetsu had a theory he wanted to test, and you said you returned my Heori. The leader of the Zero Squad looked around, but saw no trace of his cloak. Where's my Heori? So that was yours? Uryu asked, having been looking over Ichigo's new outfit since he saw the seamstress display her skill. Guess it was really important then. Yeah, that's gone. He told him before getting back to his study of his cousin's clothes, completely ignorant of the rights and anger of the captain commander. Okay, Ori, the symbol of strength and accomplishment reserved for only the most worthy of the ranks of leaders, and you lost it, he calmly stated before raising his cane. And then Ichigo blew up, which almost burned it away completely. The Quincy finished prompting Ryusai to bash Ichigo's skull in. The resulting shockwave blew Uryu away, left a small crater into the ground, and made a lump grow on Ichigo's head. Those aren't just given away casually. The dragon roared at Ichigo, who backed away from his sensei's anger. When you return to Wakamundo, you find that. It's with the Vanderak, Uryu interrupted, earning a more infuriated look from both Yuabaha and Ichibe. The main reason the senator spies came with us was because Yuabaha gave them orders to kidnap Yuzo and Karin, which they refused to do, knowing they couldn't just return empty-handed since Yuabaha would kill them. They took the next best thing, the Hiyori of a Royal Guard member. I'm guessing that has some special properties. They're made with oaken fibers and properties. Senjumara said, given a sense of how serious the Quincy situation became. We must begin preparations. Yuba has a way to access the royal palace. That upstart Quincy would still need to get Yamamoto and Ichigo first. Uetsu called from his place, rubbing his fingers along the body of Kyoko Sugetsu's blade, while water dripped from the steel. He moved his away to reveal very small polished stones on his fingers. This girl needs a good polish. That bastard Aizen treated her like a tool, he muttered as he dried off the sword before going to Ichigo. But now Yoruba should be more cautious of Ichigo than ever, and as well he should be since this happened. He stated while tossing the blade to the hybrid, which transformed mid-flight into the Sanpakto spirit of the sword, something that resembled a shimmering female Aizen, as if she was simply a mirage surprising the whole of the go time. You have a really spacious inner world, Ichigo, she said, getting directly into Ichigo's personal space. When you infected Aizen, you infected everything right down to his Sanpakto. She turned away with a blush. It hurt at first. It was so rough, but I couldn't help but enjoy it. Ichigo and several other members of the Gotai developed a blush. Jin was snickering while Urahara and Yoruichi planned to milk this for it was worth it. And Ishin was proud that his son could even seduce swords. Yes, Sangetsu was an amazing lover. She proudly declared, causing several to face falter. Sangetsu himself appeared next to Kyoka and covered her mouth with his hand. Bottom line, Ichigo, you absorbed Kyoka Sangetsu, the Sanpakto spirit as well. The Sanpakto explained, meaning you have the power of one of the strongest Kido type swords. For the time being, however, you're going to have to work to gain and master that power. Ichigo nodded in agreement, preferring to earn his strengths by learning them. You better get ready for the new training partner. Meanwhile, I have no idea how Shirayuki and Haneko are going to react to this. He said out loud and mentally to his master as both spirits returned to Ichigo's inner world with both blades appearing at his hip. At least that was addressed. Yamamoto said, already thinking of ways to help train his student in his new blade, but there is still more to take care of. He turned to his soldiers. I call for a captain's meeting. We shall decide the fate of Jin Ichimaru. Jin's trial. The captains assembled in the meeting hall with Jin in shackles before them all. The whole trial was a farce, and they all knew it. Jin was an ally, but he acted of his own accord. They needed as many strong soldiers as they could get, but they still had to punish Jin for his actions. For the first time since Giryusei took Ichigo as his disciple, he forbade Ichigo from playing any part in this meeting. Jin Ichimaru, you stand accused of treason, Yamamoto called out, moving quickly to avoid a waste of time, so they can make preparation for the Quincy. You stated your sole mission was to slay Aizen for his actions, but it was all of your own accord. How do you plead him? Guilty, Captain Commander, Ichimaru said with a smile on his face. I did not care how much blood I need to spill. So long as Aizen died, I would be content. He bowed before the captain and knelt, ready to receive his punishment. I only ask that you let Rangiku visit me in the maggot's nest. You jumped to conclusions, Ichimaru, the dragon said, making Jin look at Yamamoto in surprise. You are not sentenced to the maggot's nest. You are banished from society as a whole to return to the deserts of Wakamundo. Jin grinded his teeth, about to lash out to the ancient captain before the man continued. Once there, you are to establish a new Squad 16 meant to hunt and regulate the numbers of dangerous hollows. You want me to be in charge of the Rancor in Wakamundo? He asked, now more confused than angry. Why not send Ichigo? He's their king now, and they would obey him. More importantly, this seems more like a slap on the wrist than what I expected. You've committed some serious crimes while getting close to Aizen, Urahara said, earning nods from some of the more level-headed captains. But Ichigo is still training, now more than ever, since he now has new powers to master, and you are a capable warrior. We can't afford to lose any of those. The scientist explained as Jin wondered what that could mean. Aizen is dead. What else could? Jin's eyes opened in shock. That arrow that killed Aizen, that's what Ichigo meant. I was going to tell him about an actual threat. Toshiro quoted back from when he and Jin watched Ichigo during his first fight with Aizen, something he barely heard during the fight. His name is Yoba, the ancient Quincy emperor that necessitated the creation of the original Gotai. The head captain continued. He has spent the last millennium preparing an army to attack us. This actually explains a lot now that I think about it. Jin admitted rethinking his stance on his punishment. But why are you creating a squad in Wakamundo? More than that, a squad made solely of Rancor. A test done by Kurosuchi revealed that the Quincy are actually very vulnerable to Hollow Reishi. Urahara answered, it's like their main weakness, hence why we want a squad of Rancor. Jin thought for a moment before rising back to his feet. Very well, I'll become the captain of this squad 16, he said before giving another fox-like grin. But first, there's something I want done. With Ichigo, the hybrid stood in front of the sealed meeting hall waiting for the other captains to finish. In the short time Ichigo studied under Yusei, he'd been able to pick up on a few things. In this case, he was forbidden from getting involved with Jin's trial, despite Yamamoto's insistence that Ichigo watch and learn the burdens of leadership. That meant that they already knew what they would be doing to Jin, that Ichigo might disagree with some aspect of it, and he would argue against it, whether he made any good points or not was irrelevant. It was irrelevant. They could now focus on the Quincy threat, and everyone wanted to prepare for that. He continued to stand there until he got a visitor. Hey there, hero. He turned to see Rankiku heading towards him. How's it going? I figured you'd be in there with them. Not this time, apparently. Meaning whatever they're planning is something I might argue against. Ichigo returned to facing the meeting hall again. He didn't do a lot to help, needing to be discreet as he could, but he did help with what he could. Besides, if anything bad happened, you'd be sad, he said, reminding both himself and Rangiku of what Jin asked. To Ichigo, that meant securing her happiness, which meant keeping Jin around. He stiffed up when he felt her hug him from behind him. You've already done so much, she told him, making him question how much he actually did. You were there when I was depressed that he left Society. You made sure my current captain returned during the Doen incident. You kept Jin alive. You see more to me. You see more to me than my boobs. I was actually okay with the lack of one-on-one time, because you were always so busy during the various crises, and I'm closer to Hanako than I've ever been before. He turned to face her again. I'll admit, for all the teasing and flirting, I wasn't ready to really fall for you, but now, Rangiku, Ichigo said, smiling down to the now blushing lieutenant. The two began leaning in to kiss each other when they were interrupted by a silver fox. Well, nice to see you two getting along, Jin called out, happily shocking the two into separating away from each other and burning with embarrassment. Well, now that I've had my fun, I figure I should tell you what's going on, he said, losing his smile and becoming more serious than his usual self. I'm banished to Wakamundo to turn your little Rancor into a whole new squad. The announcement surprised the two, Ichigo admitting to himself that he'd probably protest. That's simply because of the whole banished part. You'll need to return to Wakamundo as well, Ichigo. Let the Harusun Rockar see the new king. I'll wait until you're ready. I need to see Urahara at the art department anyway, he said as he began walking away. He suddenly stopped to wave Ichigo over to himself. Yeah, what is that? Ichigo asked as he got closer to Jin, who wrapped an arm around the hybrid and started whispering in his ear. I do trust you with her, but remember this, he spoke with a deathly calm tone that promised a slow death. After Aizen got her hurt, I spent centuries getting into the perfect position to kill him. It may have failed, but you now know how patient and determined I can be. If you hurt her, I don't care how long it will take, I will find a way to kill you. Do we have an understanding? He finished with a predatory smile, which was ruined with a loud crack on his head. I'm sure he knows. Now stop threatening my boyfriend. Rangiku deadpanned, her sheath resting on the lump that was now on Jin's head. Sorry, just being a bit protective. Jin apologized, walking away from the two. Go and be happy, Rangiku. He waved goodbye, flashing the pair smile before disappearing. Only took a few centuries for him to give me a proper goodbye, she thought with a smile as the two leaned against one another again. By the way, what was with Toshiro? Ichigo suddenly asked. I show up and he was an adult. The true power of his Bankai, he answered, takes a while to mature like that. And Squad 12 with the Fullbringers 3 days later. So you managed to find another level to the Fullbring? Ginjo said while Chad was getting a few tests done. And you didn't come up with a name for it in all this time? Why not full power or full release? He ranted, slowly listed off more names while the other Fullbringers ignored him. Ignoring the terrible naming idea. I'm sure you're fine, Sato. Jackie said, patting the big guy on the back. You were already pushing your limits and just went too far too fast. These guys can fix you right up. Chad gave the dark American a smile. Tsukishima and Giriko trying to stop Ginjo from embarrassing himself with the names that he was thinking of while Ryuka ignored them when Urahara came back with the clipboard in hand. If you still want to give that full state of name, I have a suggestion. Forbidden. Kisuke said with no cheer and none of the laid-back attitude. Sato, you burned through the last 20 years of your life with that and actually increased the chance of social society upon your mortal death. The rest of the Fullbringers froze in shock while Chad seemed resigned, like he knew that was the case. I'm not sure if this will be the case with others, but from now on, I never wanted to hear you using that if you can avoid it, Chad. Understood. The Fullbringer nodded. If it's not too much trouble, don't tell the others, especially Ichigo. He asked, making the captain raise his eyebrow while the others still tried to process the news. I don't want him to worry about me. There was a long pause before the scientist sighed. Fine, but if you use the power again, I'm telling him. He said as he left the group, heading to the basement to continue the Rancor experiments. Squad 12 underground facility. Mayuri, how's progress? Urahara called out as he entered the chambers housing the more questionable experiments of Squad 12. Most of the squad took to colonate Mayuri's playground, where the usual ethics and morality Urahara imposed on the man were gone. There's some debate among those in the know about it, but he gets away because of one thing: the benefits outweigh the cost. I can hate you all I want, Urahara, but you always bring the best things. The modified man said with glee. The test shows a positive, and Ichimaru is ready. He's got what he wanted. He handed the file to his superior, who skimmed it through with approval. He figured emerged Hokyukyu would be easier to control and sealed it away with its power. The only thing left was to try and sever the connection to Ichigo, but everyone thought it would be best if it stayed connected to the hybrid. Hopefully this can keep Jin's Bankai safe from the Vanderreichs and Medellin as well. Urahara mumbled as he turned back to his lieutenant. What if Ashiro and the twins? Discerned a tired groan from him. The three are being kept in stasis until I can figure that puzzle out. He insisted that they stay together, and I haven't figured out how to give their Sanpakto soul cleaning properties. I remember that particular headache with my modified Quincy bows. The captain agreed, shuddering at that week of sleepless nights. Any theories? Merging with Asuachi, rewriting the blades at the soul level, figuring out how Kurosaki can eat hollows and purify them in the process. None of which I really wanted to test and lose my test subjects. He said and interrupted when Urahara opened his mouth. I'm never going to use that damn ball of yours. That's cheating. The scientist turned to his superior. Disgust obvious in his glare. There's no denying that the Hikyu is indeed a marvelous creation, but as a scientist, I cannot tolerate its use or existence. You made the ultimate tool of creation and innovation, but what you say is any of that if you can just gain the results you wanted right away. Scientists must embrace the struggle of dead ends and failures, always finding a new way or a new possibility. Even Ichigo Kurosaki, the closest that any of us have seen to a perfect thing, still strives to become stronger, ever growing, ever improving. Even if he becomes the most powerful being in existence, he'd still look for a way to improve himself. If the Hokaku must give us the end result, then what is the point? Where's the knowledge or even the discovery? Or how are you still a scientist if you still use it? He demanded, leaving Urahara without an answer. different subject. And then, what have you done with Yami? With Yami, Urahara asked as Mayuri handed him another file. Not sure if that Quincy was lucky or one of the best shots ever, he said, holding up a pile the size of a grape. He severed everything short of being lethal when he carved up that lug's brain. He's still alive and stuck like he was when those three dropped that giant off. He regenerates and now serves as a constant supply of tissue matter that we've used to make these. Just one pill can increase our strength by 10%. Will be more, but I think they prefer a pill that's easy to swallow. And Ichigo can use these to reward the Rancor loyal to him. Urahara said, already thinking of ways to use them to gain loyalty. And I might have some of these reishi. Maruri finished, earning a look from the captain. Just in case there's a few rebels that can be put to better use. Urahara struggled and began to leave him. Keep on the Rancor, Sanpakuto Mayuri. That's your top priority. Yamamoto wants that squad ready ASAP, he said as he left. With Jin and Ichigo, everything ready? Ichigo asked his silver-haired companion, still bearing his ever-present smile in his Rancor robes, with Hiyori with his 16 on the back. We've put this trip back to Wakamundo off for long enough. Patience, your majesty, Jin said, putting emphasis on majesty, while knowing Ichigo would hate it. I'm willing to bet that the spotter have restored order and are merely waiting for your return. Ichigo rolled his eyes before opening a garganta leading into the endless deserts of Wakamundo. Now, are you sure you can handle this? Ichigo asked again for what seemed to be the 100th time. Jin's answer was to raise his hand and summon a white fox hollow mask. I'm certain I'll fit right in. And with that, the pair jumped into the void of the precipitous world and began the journey to Ichigo's new kingdom. Illustrated Guide to Soul Reapers. What happened to Tosen? The fight was immediately out of Tosen's favor. The moment he gained eyesight with his Yoshon, he kept all of his focus on Grimjaw, which left openings that Komambura and Kensei capitalized on without mercy. Soon the vengeance-fueled man was beaten and restrained by his former friend and former captain while they watched Ichigo destroy Aizen. My sight, it's fading, Tosen thought as the vision he once enjoyed was fading away again. But I refuse to acknowledge your justice, Grimjaw. He glared at Grimjaw's head. Without looking back, Grimjaw pointed his elbow at Tosen's head and fired one of his bombs. He intended to cancel out the coming zero, but he shot it too soon. The wet squelch let Grimjaw know he made a mistake. This guy was wanted dead or alive, right? He asked as the two captains gaped at him and the now headless body. Senjumaru gets a request. Excuse me. The seamstress heard as she and the other Zero Squad members were getting ready to depart for the royal realm. She turned to find Rangiku Matsumoto heading for her. Yes, can I help you? She asked as the lieutenant caught up to her. Yeah, I know there's a problem with Ichigo's new outfit, Rangiku said, earning a slight ire from the seamstress as she takes great pride in her craft. The glare directed at the lieutenant was enough to make her realize that she needed to hurry. It's just that Ichigo is not single and has a lot of women he needs to keep happy, which means a certain part needs to. She trailed off, hoping that the message got across. The blush on Senjumaru indicated that it had him. Give me a minute, she told the gathered group as she disappeared. Seconds later, they heard Ichigo yelling again. She reappeared with blood dripping from her nose. The zipper now. Have fun, she said, getting a thumbs up from Rangiku, which she returned. Realizing helplessness, this is unacceptable. One of the judges of the new Central 46 roared, that boy's becoming far too dangerous. Before they nearly filled all the seats of the body, but with the purge of nobility after the Katsunoji incident, they were back to barely a fifth of their number. Stop wasting your breath, one of the sages told him. There's nothing we can do. We're still under martial law until the Quincy War is over, and even after that, Yamamoto has made it clear that Central 46's power will be severely crippled. We are the true authority of the Soul Society, another sage argued, and under the rule of our predecessor, look at how much damage we wrought, another judge argued. Most of Ichigo Kurosaki's tenure as a Shinigami was spent undoing the most severe of society's mistakes. The Section 46 is an outdated system that only leads to more problems than it resolves. Another judge said, "You speak of blasphemy!" Another judge yelled out, while another sage stood up. "No, we speak of change." A majority of the judges and sages stood up with him. We present a new idea to the Captain Commander of a new system, some new consoles for the civilians of society that would render this body mute, and he approved. End of chapter 78.